It's Mish here, Uber Coach Michelle. How are you guys? So really quickly, because I've been trying to get this conversation piece, and I'm going to jump in on here on this thread about Caitlyn Jenner. I was so excited. I was so like, oh my gosh, that's so awesome. And I remembered a few years ago when I had actually learned that before we incarnate here in this lifetime, wherever we come from, whatever planet or whatever soul braid, that how we agree on certain paths that we know we're going to take. And I remember thinking that, and I remembered the reason why it stuck with me is because I thought to myself, like, wow, so that means that people who experience really intense life situations, like what Caitlyn Jenner is going through, and I think of people like Christopher Reeves, who had remember that back in those days, he was the man who fell off the original, like the first Superman we all remembered, and he had the really bad horseback riding lesson, and he ended up damaging his spine, but he went on to like do really amazing things, even though it meant his life got cut shorter than what it would normally have been, but his impact like quadrupled. And I remember learning in my own spiritual development how souls who take those on, to me, they're like, woo, masters, you know what I mean? Because they are like taking this path, they're making this very conscious, in the biggest way of that word, decision to take on these challenges. And a lot of the times it's because it's to help shift the consciousness of the global world. It's usually when their life path is to bring in, whether it's a paradigm shift or it's to get people to see something in a different way. And in order for there to be a paradigm shift, in order for them to kind of chisel away at very old beliefs and old ways of seeing things, it usually comes with something pretty intense or pretty dramatic. And it's usually something that impacts people on a very large scale. And it's always made me have just mad respect. I think of children who are born with Down syndrome and supposedly learning disabilities, right? Which that's a whole other video. But it makes me feel such respect. And so when I read and I listened to the video and I saw the pictures, all I could think was, damn, like you chose a hell of a path and you are just doing it and doing it well. And so I was just super inspired, and it made me feel like I would love to meet Caitlyn Jenner, but to just have this really deep conversation and just look at her soul and just say, thank you. Thank you for, just teaching us all about love and about looking past gender and looking past all the labels that we put on one another and forcing us to really instead look at one another as souls, which is what we really are. So that's my take on it.